Songs the Night Sing is the second album from the band The Dark Element, and if you don't know anything about this band, they contain some heavy hitters in the metal industry. You've got Yanni, ex Sonata Arctica, and Annette Olson, who was also in Nightwish. So you're going to get the quality that you know that these two people can put out. And I hate to spoil it so early, but Songs in the Night Sing is a pretty decent album. To start off with, I just want to go over the three singles that they released for the album. Starting off with the title track of the album, Songs the Night Sing. It's a very safe song. If you've listened to the first album, it sounds a lot like that album, just in general. It's kind of got a bit of elements from a lot of the songs. It sounds a bit like Halo, My Sweet Mystery, and like all those other songs. It's safe, it does what it needs to do, and if you were looking for something that was a bit different for the title track, you ain't gonna get it with Songs the Night Sing, which in a way is a bit of a bummer. Not Your Monster almost falls into the same trap that Songs That the Night Sing does. While the chorus is very reminiscent of Halo and My Sweet Mystery, the choruses sound different, so you've got that mix. You've got that new and old, and it's the first track of the album, so it's honestly a good placement for this song. You know, it's a new album, they're going to be taking a different direction with this album in general, so it's got that new and old to help draw in the older fans that liked the first album, as well as introducing you to what the album's going to mostly feel like and sound like. And finally, The Pallbearer Walks Alone. Now, I only ended up really enjoying the intro riff of the song as well as the solo. Otherwise, it's a pretty average song for this album. So, with the singles out of the way with, I'm going to talk about the highlights of this album for me. And they were When It All Comes Down, Pills on My Pillow, and the final track of the album, I Had to Go. To start off with, I'm going to talk about When It All Comes Down. Now, this first song is where you're gonna start to notice the drastic change in tone that they're gonna be going for. It's gonna be going for this more grimy and muted feel, and I feel that this song purposely tries to reinforce that to you, especially in the keyboard work. The keyboard work in this song is great at getting you into that feeling of what the song is trying to do and what the album overall is gonna feel like. And for that reason is why I enjoyed this song so much. It's the first song on the album that really hits you with they are trying something different, and it's well put together, it's well produced. They didn't cut any corners with this song. It's a solid all around good song that again helps put you in the mindset for this album's theme and tone. Pills on My Pillow is another song that also leads heavily in that dark and gloomy style, with it contrasting with what you would expect from a Dark Element chorus with the more grimy and muted verses of the song. This is reinforced heavily in the intro of the song, which is my personal favourite part of the song. And let me just say, this song is unsettling to listen to, and that's what drew me to it. It's something that made me uncomfortable listening to it for the first time. After I listened to it the first time, I kind of just got used to it and just appreciated it for what it was. My final highlight of this album was I Had to Go, the final track on this album. Now, the song fakes you into believing that it's a piano outro. After about 25 seconds or so, the vocals start kicking in, and it's this very slow and mellow song with guitars kind of thrown in at certain points, but they're not really the main focus of the song. They're only really there for, I'd say, about 10-15 seconds at most. It's a song that makes you kind of feel a little bit better after listening to kind of the darker feel and darker themes of this album, even though that can still be felt throughout the song. Now, there was one song I didn't end up enjoying, and that was If I Had a Heart. I didn't really enjoy this song because it was bad. I just kind of found it a bit boring. It just wasn't for me. It's just one of those songs that wasn't for me, and honestly, if you like it, you like it. I just couldn't really get into that song. Now, with the rest of the album, you're gonna get what you're gonna get from a symphonic heavy metal band. You're gonna have your slow song with, to whatever end, you're gonna have those songs that are just there to extend the album and reinforce what it's going for. You're gonna probably end up liking or hating those songs, Get Out of My Head, If I Had a Heart, Silence Between the Worlds, and any other songs that I'm probably not remembering. I ended up enjoying listening to these songs, but I just enjoyed listening to those songs. They weren't really a highlight for me. They weren't really doing it for me. They were just something I could listen to. To some that sucks, to some that, padding. To me, those songs are enjoyable enough for me on the few listens that I did listen to the song when reviewing this album, and honestly, that's fine. I'm not really looking for an album with, standout after standout hit. And while Songs That the Night Sing doesn't do that and has a few fantastic highlights, it's an overall solid and well put together album. As I said at the start of this video, you've got two major players in the heavy metal industry. You're going to get a well put together, well produced, well thought about album that is a solid listen from start to end. So that leaves me with rating this album. I'm going to give it a solid 7.6. Everything's there. You've got the good keyboard work, you've got that good guitar work, you've got good vocals, you've got a well put together album. Unfortunately, it doesn't stand out enough for me to put it any higher. And I can go in circles with what I just said, but you've heard me say it a few times, so I'm not going to repeat it. To finish up, I just want to say this album is worth a listen. If you're looking for something a little bit different in the realms of symphonic metal that does have a power metal feeling to it, then I would recommend this album to you because it's a kind of darker themed album with, muted feelings and kind of grimy feelings all around. And that makes this album unique. So yeah, it's a solid recommend from me.